Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and as you can see, we have a deck profile in store for you. This time we're showing you Sammy's Prison Seraph Snow deck profile. He won the Antwerp Locals not too long ago, and he's giving us a look at his build. He'll be explaining a bit of the matchups he had and, you know, the general flow of the deck. Enjoy!
Hey guys, so as you said, I'm a Vanguard Prison player and I'm gonna show you guys the deck that I won at my local tournament with. So first off, my right line, your standard starter, Kyanite Blue, the card that searches your prison for you, Rise at Pink, card that imprisons from your opponent's hand, and of course your main grade 3 Seraph Snow. For a counterblast, she can imprison 2 cards from your opponent's field, and with 1 card in prison, she'll get 10,000 power, and with 3 cards, she'll get a very useful triple drive. Next, we play an extra 3 Seraph Snows in the deck, because this deck is very good for controlling your opponent and has a lot of good defensive plays. However, it's very lacking in its offensive measures. So right now, persona riding is the main way you're gonna be aggressive against your opponents. So you're definitely gonna need all 3 of them. Next, we run 4 Parrier Turquoise. A really useful card. First of all, she gets 5,000 power if your opponent has 2 or more cards in your prison, and she makes sure that anything that's called back out of prison gets minus 5,000 power. And the best part is, if you have 2 of her on your field, then your opponent's cards will get minus 10,000 power. This heavily discourages them from calling their stuff back, and makes sure that you still have enough in your prison for your conditions. Next, we run 4 Agra Rouge. Also a really helpful card because it's 1 Soul Blast for her imprisoning a front row rear guards. But the best part about her is that she gets 5,000 power on you and your opponent's turn if there's 2 cards in prison. And she also gets an extra 10k shield. So she's a 15k attacker and a 15k shield unit. Next, I run 2 Dairy Violets. She's also a very useful card because she's a pseudo-complete guard. If your opponent has 1 card in your prison, then she can pay 1 Soul Blast to nullify a grade 2 or lower unit's attack. I only run 2 of her though because, like I said, it only works on grade 2 or lower, so she cannot do this on a grade 3 Vanguard attack, and against decks like Bastion or Nirvana, she tends to be less good. The best part about her though is that she can do this while intercepting as well, so you still are able to call her to the field. Next, I run 2 Spark Lemons. She's very useful for the on-hit pressure. A lot of people will not want you to hit with her because she will allow you to imprison 2 cards from their drop zone. Ideal targets to imprison from drop zone are usually trigger units because your opponent won't even want to call those back to their field. So that makes sure that they stay in your prison. I only run 2 though because she doesn't really get a power boost, and you still have other ways to imprison from the drop zone and even from your opponent's hand, which you do with this card. This is the grade 2 order that imprisons from your opponent's hand for a Soul Blast if they have 4 or more cards, and if doing this makes sure you have 3 or more in your prison, then you get to add 5,000 power to one of your units. So it's very helpful against an Orphis matchup, which won't let you imprison their shadow tokens, or it's just very useful to finish your opponent off, make sure that they don't have enough cards in their hand to defend your attacks. Next we run, of course, the prison card that lets you soul charge. Then we also play 3 Shovel Studs. This card is extremely useful as well. For a counterblast and a soul blast, you can imprison your opponent's cards, and it lets you draw a card if you have 3 or more in the prison. This is very useful because it allows you to become very defensive. Your Perios are also going to get targeted a lot by your opponent's attacks, so you need the draw power to keep your fields advantageous. Next, I run 2 baggy motors. This one is mainly in here for Orifice matchups, so you still get to imprison stuff on places other than the field. I only run 2 though because he's only able to imprison from the drop zone if your opponent has 1 or less cards in your prison. So the minute you hit 2 cards in prison, this card is not that useful anymore. And next, for good measure, I run 3 of the Boba Mines. Now this deck does not use a lot of resources actually. You can also be very defensive early on because your early plays don't require a lot of counterblasts. So this one is mainly in here for when your matchups become very long or very grindy and you need that extra counter charge or extra soul blasts. Next, of course, I run the 4 PGs. Then an over trigger. I run 5 front triggers, 4 of which are the special 20k shield ones. I run 5 instead of 4 because I genuinely believe that this deck needs a little bit more power and a front trigger gets the job done on that. And then I run 6 critical triggers. And lastly, 4 heal triggers. There you go, that's the deck that I like to use.
Okay, so you had your matchups. What would you say was your most difficult one of the entire day?
Definitely my matchup against Orifice, because like I mentioned, when you imprison a shadow token, it doesn't go to your prison, it just disappears. So that means my triple drive for Seraph Snow, my extra power for some of my rear guards didn't activate because of that. So then I really had to hustle and use some of my drop zone imprisonments, my hand imprisonments to get the job done and clinch out the win.
Okay, again, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And, you know, we hope to see you with another deck profile in the future. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know if you want to see another deck, if you want to see this deck particularly in action, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay radiant. Bye-bye.